Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online. Here we are back with our NTA UGC Net Paper 1 2022 preparation. So just a few days. In fact, a lot of countable days are left for your examination. So here we are with the next topic of 60-minute revision, and that is topic is research aptitude. Prior to this, we have done teaching aptitude. We have also done communication. Just to make sure that these are the 60 minutes lecture, so just try to put a lot of concentration. Maybe at times you may feel that it is a lot of speed up, but it is very important that in this 60 minutes you can grab maximum entire topic, so that it will help you to go for go with a proper preparation for your examination. Now yes, so before we go ahead, let's quickly have a look what does Global Online has to give for. So Global Online has a complete crash course for paper 1, which consists of daily live lectures, PDF notes or revision notes you can call, on all the topics, last 10-year question papers with answer key, as well as test series consisting of 2,500 questions. And this you can get with the help of Global Online app, or you can also ping us on the WhatsApp number. Currently the fees is 3,500, but we have a 30% offer going on. So this particular course will be costing you 2,450 if you take it now. If you go on the Global Online app with the help of Google Play Store, you can download the app. You can register yourself with the help of mobile number. You get the interface where you can go and buy this course with 30% discount. Once you buy the course, you can get all the units, including consisting of theory lectures, MCQ notes, mock test, evaluation test, as well as you have, this practice goes on every day. Or at the same time, if you are planning to go for only paper 2 notes or MCQs, so this is also available with Global Online. So these are the subjects in which we have only notes and MCQs. These subjects are listed on the screen. The fees is 1,500, but for this also 30% discount is going on. So this will cost you 1,050 presently. So you can take a decision and get under one umbrella, you can get all this material, and you can prepare yourself for best for the coming examination. And so yes, research aptitude we are seeing today. So we have totally 5 questions, total number of marks allotted at 10. Each question carries 2 marks. So the syllabus for the research aptitude talks about research, its meaning, types, characteristics, positivistic and post-positivism approach, methods we have steps, thesis and article writing. We also have application of ICT in research, and research ethics. So yes, these are important topics. You can't skip any of them, and every topic has a question out of this. So it is very important that you should know about each and every aspect of the topic. So let's start with research. So basically, what is research? Research is nothing but a scientific investigation, okay, which is with the help of what? With the help of new facts with respect to the knowledge. I mean to say, see, I'm highlighting some important points depending upon the question, because for research and research characteristics, the questions are seen from this. So something which is scientifically investigated with the help of what? Facts related to the knowledge. This is what is called as research. When we talk about objectives of research, something which has to, needs to be familiar. It is exploratory or formulative research, which, it is something to relate to, I mean to say, to explore something or to formulate something. So we can say with the help of new insights, or you can also use the word as familiarity. To describe accurately the characteristics of research, which is descriptive in nature. To determine the frequency, which is in the form of diagnostic research, where you try to find out the cause and remedy. And causal relationship between the variables, which is in the form of hypothesis testing. So this is basically objectives of research. We have types of research. Now here I will just ensure that the things are going properly, because a lot of confusion was seen in the theory classes when we did MCQs also. So let's understand them very well. So applied research versus fundamental research. Applied research and fundamental research basically We'll start with applied research, which has a solution to an immediate problem. So here I have given an example also, but right now, what is important to understand the concept? So you can just go through the examples also. So any solution, any research solution which gives an immediate to find a solution to any immediate problem is nothing but it is called as applied research. Like for example, take an example of marketing research. Whereas fundamental research is nothing but it is called as pure or basic research. And this research is, it is basically concerned with generalization. Now, generalization, it means forming the statements or, coming up with the theory, formulation of theory. And this is basically, it is based on what? It is to extend the boundaries of knowledge in a given area. So in order to extend your knowledge in the specific area, you can take the help of fundamental research and you can come up with the statements and this theory formulation. So research which is done on human behavior. Then we have descriptive and analytical research. So descriptive research is something, which includes a surveys or fact finding, which is descriptive in nature. The term ex post facto is used in order to describe this type of research. Okay. The report has there is no control over the variables. The only thing is that what has happened or happening can be understood. So the example is like the frequency of the shopping or the preference of the people based on the research can be clearly understood. Whereas analytical research is something which uses the facts, which uses the information in order to analyze or to evaluate a situation. So that type of research is called as what? Analytical research. Then we have qualitative and quantitative research. We have done lots of question on qualitative, quantitative. Okay. And we also have done a lot of theory part also, but still as in revision, we will understand very well. Qualitative research is something which is related to phenomena. And one of the question, the straight sentence was given, okay, qualitative research related to phenomena. And it is basically discovering, the aim is to discover the motive or the desire, or using the in-depth interviews for the purpose of the research. And here the techniques, like for example, techniques such as the words association or the sentence completion test, story competition, these are the examples where you can find qualitative research. So attitude or opinion of the research to find how people are or what exactly people think about a particular subject is basically it's more about a qualitative research. When we talk quantitative research is something which is based on the measurement of the or the quantity. It is quantifiable, or it can be expressed in the terms of quantity. So please make sure that these things are very well remembered. Like for example, in MCQ, I have taken an example as how much time the doctor takes. If you want to research how much time a doctor takes to treat a patient, so how much time you need to talk about the quantity, and they have given you the options. This type of research is an example of what. So such type of examples you can get, or questions you can get for the quantitative research. The next one you have is conceptual versus empirical. So when I say conceptual research, it is related to some abstract ideas or theory which are being, developed, which develop new concepts. Either with the help of by which are used by the philosophers or thinkers. Empirical research is related to the experimental research, which lies on the experiments or the experience, you can say, based on the observation and experiment. And it is used when the researcher has to prove a certain variable, that is impact. So if you remember, there are questions here also, that is there is an impact manipulation which is happening at independent variable. Is a part of what? Again, it's a part of experimental research. Then the other researches, like where you can see the questions, is explanatory research, which makes an attempt to explain the phenomena to, or you can use the theories for explanation. Exploratory research, where the development of hypothesis happens. Historical research, which helps us to understand the source in the form of documentation or remains, which the events which has happened in the past. And conclusive research, it is a researcher who is free to take up a problem, redesign it, and can conceptualize the way he wants it. So this is nothing but it is called as what? It is called as conclusive research. Now, Vex, we have next topic is research philosophy. So we have diagrammatic presentation. Here also a lot of question comes. So we are going to do it in diagrammatic form. We'll go through like that also. So research philosophy is nothing but the set of belief. We have research approaches, we have research strategies, we have research choices, time horizons, techniques. So in philosophy, we have positivism, imperativism, and pragmatism. Approaches, we have inductive, deductive, qualitative, quantitative. Strategies, we have experimental action or case study. Choices, we have mono method, either the mixed methods, or you can say multi method. Mono, it means either one method, qualitative or quantitative. Then time horizons, the number of points in time which allows to collect the data, that is either in the form of cross sectional or longitudinal. The techniques and procedures is the form of data collection, data analysis, or you can say the techniques and sampling. So this is what experienced in your research. So philosophy, approaches, strategies. In case if you get it in the match the following format, you should know how to do it. So this is what research onion is. So where we have, it starts with the research philosophy, going it with research approach, strategy, choices, techniques. So I've just made 2-3 slides. It's the same slide. One I have shown with the help of theory, one I'm showing with the help of diagrammatic presentation. So here, how you will define. So what is a combination of research philosophy? So basically ontology and epistemology contributes to what? It contributes to research philosophy. Now how? Let's see. So when I say ontology, it is something which believes in your multiple realities. So it is something which takes into consideration many of the things. Whereas epistemology, it is the knowledge which needs to be interpreted or explained. So multiple realities with the knowledge togetherly, we get, something called as research philosophy, which is called as what? Which is called as constructivism. Now, so defining ontology in a different way. So ontology is concerned with what is true or what is real or the nature of reality. So like, for example, what is existence? What is the nature of existence? So it focuses mostly on reality. Epistemology is concerned with the nature of knowledge and different methods of gaining the knowledge. So how the knowledge, what type knowledge is, how it is defined, and what are the different methods of gaining the knowledge. So it asks questions like, what do you know, or how do you know it? So this is basically defining ontology and epistemology, and when you combine them, you get something in the form of constructivism. Okay, now this is very important point here. Students have requested me to go with positivism and post-positivism approach properly. So here again, I have brought them for your reference. Again, for the same concepts I have explained with the help of 2 slides. Okay, so one, this is here. Next slide also is same, but it will give you a clear idea. So positivism is something which believes in reality, which is quantitative. Whereas post-positivism, which something which believes in the new knowledge, you can also call, it is something which is committed to the particular moment. When we talk about a positivism, it believes true and object reality in order to apply to the methods and principles. Whereas post-positivism is completely based on theories, hypotheses, and the value of the researcher. Positivism, it denies the intuition and it goes only and only with objectivity, whereas post-positivism is inclined towards, or concerned towards subjectivity. Positivism, obviously, by looking at all the points, we know it is a scientific study, whereas post-positivism, it's based on experience. So when we say, again, I mean, this is a second slide, but little bit in more descriptive format. So positivism, which, as we said, reality producing quantitative data. Post-positivism, understanding the experience in the form of qualitative data. Positivism, which uses large samples. Post-positivism, which uses small samples. Positivism, which is concerned with hypothesis testing, whereas post-positivism, which is, concerned with generalizing the theories, the statements. Data in positivism is highly specific and precise, whereas in post-positivism, it is rich and subjective. So it is it is the data, when you rely on positivism, the reliability is high, whereas when it comes to post-positivism, here you can, the reliability is definitely low. So now, yes, coming to the next topic, here you can find a lot of questions. So basically, what is research design? In practice MCQs, there are a lot of questions which are seen on research design. So I have taken it a separate topic. So basically it is concerned with what, where, when, how much, means for a research or an inquiry is done. So it is basically an outline of what research will do. That is from writing from a hypothesis to the analysis of data. So what does it includes? So what is the study about, or what is the study being, why is the study being made, where is the study being carried out, or what is the data required, what are the techniques, collection, data analysis. So all this is a part of what? All this is a part of your research design. Now, so research design, it is basically used for the sampling design. It is used for observational design. Sampling design, when I said it is, means to select the samples. Observational design, it means to observe the conditions. Statistical design, you like, how many times, or, what information it has. Operational design in the form of what? In the form of techniques. Okay. Now, so when we talk about the features of research design, so how the research design should be, it should have various type of sources and information. The strategy is, it should have a strategy and the analysis of data. It should include the time and cost, as well as it should talk about the population. So important concepts which are related to research design, that is independent and dependent variables. So when we say independent, it talks about the cause. When we say dependent, it talks about the effect. So this is, which you should remember. This is very important again to write it. So independent variable, as I said, when we talk cause, it means it is manipulated, whereas dependent variable, the effect which is shown in the form of measurement. So here many times student gets confused. So for you, this is the right, answer to be right topic to be answered. Now, apart from that, we also have, intervening variables or extraneous variables and confounding variables. So confounding variables are those which affects the relationship between two variables, that is independent and dependent. Whereas extraneous variables are those which are, it's not interested in studying that regarding the effect. So like, for example, we may not want to know how the number of hours that a basketball player trains per week, which affects the average point gain. So we just have to consider the number of hours, but how, what, where, we are not interested in. Intervening variable is something that impacts the relationship between two, dependent and independent. So in that case, when we talk about intervening variable, the intervening variable is caused by the independent variable and itself, has itself a cause of dependent variable. So this is intervening variable, which may not be, directly something which affects the relationship, but via you can say. So that is, which can be due to one of the reasons. So it is intervening, it is, disturbing, you can say. Now, yes, so there is a difference between explorative or descriptive research. You can also call it as formulative or diagnostic research. So when we talk about explorative research, it is it has a flexible design in order to consider the problem, different aspects of problem, whereas descriptive or diagnostic research is something which is rigid, which is there is minimum biasness and maximum reliability, which you can see under this. A sampling design, non-probability sampling design. So we have learned what is non-probability sampling design, whereas under descriptive or diagnosis, you can see the probability design. Okay, every sample has, the equal chances of getting selected. Statistical, it is nothing is planned and explorative or formulative, whereas descriptive or diagnosis is perfectly planned. It is pre-planned in, I guess. It means the pre-planned structure is used over here. Observational design, unstructured instrument to collect, the data, whereas a descriptive, it is a structured instrument for the data collection. Operational design, no fixed decision, but operational procedure is followed. Advanced decision, but operational procedure, about the operational procedure is followed. So here sometimes there were 2-3 points in the previous year question paper, and with focus to that, I have just framed this particular slide. Now, yes, there is a lot of problem when it comes to the approaches, that is in the time horizon, cross-sectional and longitudinal. Now here also, we will understand them in the detailed form. See, when we say cross-sectional, it means it is something which is compared, okay, quick to conduct as compared to longitudinal. So you want to have a less span of time and do a comparison. So we will go with what? We will go with cross sectional. But if you want a longitudinal, you have a time, or you want to have a longitudinal approach of your study, you can go with longitudinal studies. So cross sectional studies conducted at any given point of time, whereas longitudinal, it is conducted with the revisit coming back with the proper intervals of time. So there has to be a regular or a proper intervals in order to research this longitudinal study. Cross-sectional study is conducted with different samples. So the samples can be different. Like, for example, the samples can be, take an example of people eating veg, people eating non-veg, vegan diets. Okay, so you can take different samples. Whereas in longitudinal, the sample remains same over the number of years, the impact of people eating veg food. So you have to, with various age group or with various parameters, you have to judge them for a longer period of time. Cross-sectional studies cannot pin down the cause and effect relationship, but longitudinal study can define the cause and effective relationship. Cross-sectional, it multiple variables, can be studied at a single point of time. As I said, it has a variety of samples. Okay, means you can say different samples are collected. Whereas in longitudinal, it is you only one variable will be considered because of the same sample over the years. So cross-sectional is comparatively cheaper due to is overall conduct, but longitudinal is, yes, it gets expensive. So now next is hypothesis. So on hypothesis also direct questions are seen. So basically hypothesis is nothing but a tentative statement, okay, which helps to a tentative statement in order to establish, or to define the relationship between two or more variables, which is done only with the help of experimentation or empirical testing. Means after the testing, you come to a conclusion for the hypothesis. Now, so what is the nature of hypothesis? We can say, so nature of hypothesis, basically here in nature of hypothesis sentences, questions are either seen only, with the rejection and acceptance of hypothesis, but still, so it should be conceptual. It is a verbal declarative statement. It should have the empirical referent. It means, indicating the relationship between two or more variables. It should be forward, that is future reference, not with the past. So here they can give you the statement and they will tell you to identify. So it should not anything related to the past. It should be future. And then should be a scientific research. That is, all activity should be conducted only with the help of verification. The next one, what you have is functions of hypothesis. So hypothesis is it's a temporary solution, because you need to verify and then find out what exactly it is. What to study with possible solutions. It has, one hypothesis may lead to formulation of other hypothesis. It will help to, shape the final hypothesis, or it can be in the form of a definite statement related to some, purpose, related to original purpose. So this is basically related to what? It is related to functions of hypothesis. Now, hypothesis also delimits the investigation. So I mean to say the threefold function, that is delimiting, sensitize the researcher, and it offers, the collective evidence to the verification. This is basically, termed as what the functions of hypothesis, or a part of hypothesis. Coming to importance of hypothesis, why do we need why hypothesis plays an important role in research? So because of, clear focus on research, it has a clear goal. It prevents any type of blind research. Okay, it gives direction, or a conclusion to the research. It sensitizes the investigators, and it gives clarity to the problem. So this is basically, one thing which is very important when it comes to framing of hypothesis, and that's the reason it plays an important role by stating it as what? The investigator's eye. So yes, now this is very important, the null hypothesis, which is nothing but a negative statement, a alternative hypothesis, which is a positive statement. So the purpose of null and null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis is to provide the description, but that will be only it will be only proved after the verification. And the once if the null hypothesis is proved or accepted, alternate hypothesis get rejected, or it is vice versa. If the alternate hypothesis gets accepted, the null hypothesis gets rejected. Then we have inductive and deductive approach of research. So when we say inductive, it is, adding up, that is bottom up approach, where we start with a specific thing and we generalize. It means we observe a particular pattern, we draw a tentative statement, and based on which we generalize a theory. Opposite to that is the deductive approach, where we deduct. It means we start with a generalization and we end up with a specific thing, that is forming the hypothesis, observing it, and then leading to a confirmation. And that confirmation is nothing but a specific form of specific research which has been formulated. So inductive research, that is observations leading to generalization and coming to theory. So inductive, we go on adding up. Okay. Deductive, we go on, theory coming to predictions, and then based on what? Experiment. So we go on deducting and coming to a very specific thing. Next is yes, this is error. So this is the actual slide. So when we say about type error, so type 1 error, that is when you are type 1 error happens when there is a rejection. Okay. Type 2 error happens when there is, when there is, like, for example, occurs when the researcher fails to reject a null hypothesis that is actually false. So something false is accepted, it's type 2 error, and something true is rejected is called as the type 1 error. So you can just keep in mind like that: true, which is rejected, okay, and false, which is accepted. It's denoted by alpha, it is denoted by beta. Okay. Like, for example, true negative, it is correct inferences, and so it is true but negative, and correct inferences, it is true but positive. Okay. So here, this is very important. There are since last 2-3 cycles, there are questions seen on type 1 and type 2 error. Then we have very important, that is scales of research. So there are basically 4 scales. Here also these questions are also seen since 2019. Nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. So nominal, where we have only the names as the categories, labels, or the type name, that is names in the form of you can say categories. So there is no value for this. When we say ordinal, it has name, the categories, plus the ranking, that is the order. So first, second, third, or the ranks, which is the best, which is the last. So you have name as well as you have the order of the sequencing. Interval, it indicates the name, the order, plus the proportionate interval. It means the equal distance. So like distance between 0 and 1 and 1 and 2, or 2 and 3 is one and the same. So the distance or the interval is proportionate. Whereas ratio, when we count, it is something which has an absolute value, which, the 0, which has, which permits forming a statement. So here, name which there indicates the nominal, the ordinal, the interval, and the absolute 0. So absolute 0, it means, like, for example, it is something which, it does not exist. Okay. So like, for example, if I say height is 0, which is not existing, and that is the only difference between interval and ratio scale. Now, yes, when we talk about population is something which, which is a subset, or population sample is a subset of population. And so when we talk about population, it's a whole group. What we want to know about the characteristics in the form of parameters which are unknown, but they are fixed. Whereas sample is a part of the group we do not, we do know about, or the characteristics in the form of the statistics. And this is something, that will definitely change the sample. Now, when we, this slide is very important, and I have shown so many questions can be from this slide. So you have to be very careful. So parameter is used to measure the population. So parameter is related to population. Statistics used to measure the sample. So statistics is related to sample. Sampling frame is a device, which is drawn from the sample, from which the sample is drawn. And sampling design is a roadmap or, the methodology from selecting the sample. So basically, it is sampling design or sampling frame it talks about. Now, types of sampling, yes, probability and non-probability. Here also you can see lots of questions coming from this particular topic. So we have probability samples divided into simple, random, stratified, systematic, and cluster. Simple, basically, a normal population where has an equal chance of any sample getting selected. Simple, just pick up any, random sampling. Stratified, you divide it into subgroups, that is the strata. And based on the strata, you pick up a sample. Then systematic sample where you list the population as per a system, maybe the maybe the you can say the odd numbers, even numbers, certain system which you have defined. And cluster sample is basically, dividing based on subgroups or based on some clusters. So group, that is a group. Okay. Now, non-probability. So when we talk about non-probability sampling, it consists of convenience, that is, which is easy and inexpensive way to collect the data as per the convenience of research. Purposive sample, which is based on judgment, okay, which helps to, find or, use our expertise to select a sample that is based on a judgment of the researcher. Voluntary sample. So voluntary sample, when we say, it is basically depending upon, the choosing the participants directly by contacting them, so that whether they want to, be a part of this survey or not. And snowball is like a networking sample, which is, helps to reach to the participant via various participants. Now, quota sampling is a part of a non-probability sampling where it has, a specific, you can say, parameters. So quota sampling, which consists of, certain numbers, and you need to have certain, characteristics to define, and based on that characteristics, you pick up the sample. That is in the form of quota sampling. Yes, now we have sources of data. Now here also primary sources, secondary sources. If we combine both of them, we get tertiary sources. This also one was the question in the 2019-20. So primary sources are those which are, not pre-existing, which we collect with the help of observation, survey, interview. And it is basically, existing data, we can say. It is more expensive and time consuming, but it is specifically used for the purpose of evaluation. Whereas secondary data, it is something which, it is based on what the information which is collected, which is processed. It offers a review, before collecting it offers an opportunity to review the data before collecting it. And it will tell you what question still needs to be addressed. So it can give you a base and can help you to go further with the new form of or new to explore new things. So techniques, I mean, under primary data, you have observation, interview, questionnaire, survey, focus groups. Under secondary data, you have publications, journals, magazines, books, newspapers, reports, research scholar reports, or public reports. So here also sometimes, they will give you the examples and they will tell you to sort out what is primary and what is secondary. Then we have, yes, here you normally get the difference between seminar, conference, symposium, and workshop. So seminar is some with a small duration, conference with a longer one, symposium also with a longer one, and workshop with a longer duration, whereas forum with a small duration. Basically the difference between symposium and conference is one. In symposium, the participants are active, whereas in conference they are passive. Otherwise, it is almost conference and symposium is very similar. Seminar is where the participants are active. It is theoretical. It's one way. Workshop, it is the participants are passive. It is very practical. It's hands-on experience and both the way. And forum, the participants are passive. It is mostly theory related and opposed also. It can be opposed also. So seminar, yes, training is given. Conference, sharing of information, discussion of the subject in symposium. Practicality in forum and workshop, and opinions in forum. So exchange of information or communication channel in seminar, it's horizontal. Conference, it turns out to be vertical, upward or downward, you can say. Public discussion in symposium. Workshop has vertical approach as well as forum also has a vertical approach. A training is only and only in workshop, so it is like hands-on experience. Seminar is something which is narrative, conference is procedural, okay, and it opens discussion. uh, Workshop which has procedure, and forum also has a procedure. So now, types of persons who are involved is something, seminar has a different perspective, conference till forum has all the similarity when it is types of persons are involved. Next, now, yes, I have we have seen one question comes from the style. Now, see, style questions, that is APA style, American Psychological Association. Now, this, even if I tell you, the next moment the video gets end, you will not remember. So this particular, I have almost given every detail, and I have given an example also. You have to ensure that it is done with a proper understanding. Okay, you format, you need to keep in mind, otherwise revising this 10 times also will not give you understanding for the formats, that is the styles. So what is APA style first of all, and how it is listed? I have given the example also. Harvard style, what exactly, how it is followed, example is given. Then you have MLA style, the example is given and the list is given. And then you have a Chicago style, the example as well as the list is given, what will come. So you need to make a tabular table in your notes, and you need to ensure that it is properly revised, otherwise it becomes difficult, and you may, for easy question you may just lose the mark. So just be careful for this. Okay, now research ethics. Yes, so when we are almost to the end of this particular topic. So research ethics, now I told you very clearly, very clear cut questions of research ethics are seen with a hint, research ethics basically related to reporting, but still, I mean to say, we'll just go through what exactly research ethics is nothing but the code of conduct for a research, which tells that the research has to be honestly done with all the steps honestly to be used. Objectivity should be proper mentioned. There has to be integrity, and there has to be a carefulness, no negligence, no errors. And this is something which is very, very important factual process, and it has to be done with due alertness. Then we have that is the next part, sorry. Yes, openness, that is using the tools, openness for accepting the criticisms, confidential with respect to the responses to be received. Okay, responsible publication, responsible mentoring is something which is a part of research ethics. So you may get this characteristics, and they will tell you to recognize the research ethics. Social responsibility of ensuring, you have societal problems as a part of your research. It should not be discriminative on basis of any of the aspects, whether it is a based on the sex, gender, that is race, ethnicity. So there should be no discrimination. Competence, it is, which helps to have or which helps to improve the professional expertise. And legality, which talks about, which talks about the laws and government policies. So fabrication, yes, here these two words were used. So when we say fabrication and falsification, so fabrication is something which is making up the data or the results, whereas falsification is manipulation. So you, in order to present a clear image, you can make up the data which is wrong, or you can manipulate the data which is also wrong. So these two things are something which is not ethical and should be avoided. So this is all what we have done in research. I hope today, see, this is research topics are actually easy. You have to ensure that, you're reading the question very well. There is not such great factual things. You have to know the concepts very well, and you can, score well in your research question. So 5 questions on an average, you should at least take, 8 marks. 4 questions should be definitely right. One question, okay, I can, there can be the difficulty level, but I don't think so. Here, this unit, you can, if you revise very well, you can be able to score full on in this particular unit. Okay, thank you everyone.